Hello, everyone. My name is Dolores Adams. I am the Director of Procurement for the Portsmouth Redevelopment and Housing Authority. And I want to let you know right off that we are recording this. I will, while we're waiting for a couple other people that had confirmed that they were going to attend, we can go ahead and start our introductions because I always like to know who I'm talking to in the room. This is the pre-proposal conference for RFP 22, no, excuse me, 2022-01 for construction trade services. And as I said, I introduce myself as Dolores Adams. We have other housing authority staff on the call, so I will call their names so they can introduce themselves. And then I like for each of you vendors to introduce yourself and in your company. So, Mr. Bland, we have our executive director, Mr. Bland here.
Good afternoon, everybody. I want to thank you for taking time out your busy schedule to participate in this conference. We're really hoping that we are able to do some business with you. My name is Ed Bland. I'm the Executive Director for the Portsmouth Redevelopment Housing Authority. And also, Happy New Year to all of you.
Okay. Elisa Winston.
Good afternoon. I'm Elisa Winston. I'm the Deputy Executive Director for Portsmouth Redevelopment and Housing Authority.
Val Jenkins.
Good afternoon. I'm Valzenia Jenkins. I'm the Director of Asset Management at Portsmouth Redevelopment and Housing Authority.
Philip Page. Okay. We have our, okay, go ahead. Philip, did you hear me? Okay, we have several members of our development and modernization staff on the phone. That department will be in charge of administering this contract. And so we're having a few technical difficulties at the moment, but we have Philip Page, Bill Cobb, and Lynette Blow that's on the phone from that department. So now that you know who's here for PRHA, I'm going to ask you all to introduce yourselves, and I will go in the order the way I have you listed on my participant list. I have Anna.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hi, how are you?
Okay.
Good.
So where are you from, Anna?
I'm with ServPro Virginia Beach.
Thank you. Jim?
Jim Toots or we have
Jim,
Jim
broke
Toots,
up.
Andrew Augustine from ServPro of Portsmouth.
Okay. Welcome, Jim and Andrew. Have Pyramid. Pyramid. Okay. Raymond at Will Pro.
Hello, Will Pro Painting out of Chesapeake, Virginia.
Welcome. Valerie James.
Good afternoon and Happy New Year. Valerie James with Mark Turner Construction. We are a full-service, minority-owned general contractor serving Central Virginia and Hampton Roads. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome. And I see that Mr. Page and crew has joined us.
Yes, I apologize for being late. This is Philip Page, Director of Development for Portsmouth Redevelopment and Housing Authority.
Lynette Lowe, the Modernization Assistant.
Bill Cobb, Project Manager.
So thank y'all. So we all know who's here. And as Mr. Bland said, we do want to thank you for taking time out to join us today for this pre-proposal conference. The RFP 2022-01 is for proposals to provide construction trade services for the authority. And hopefully you've all had an opportunity to review the solicitation. I'm going to share my screen and pull up the solicitation because there's a few things in there that I would like to make sure we cover. Do you all see the RFP that I hope you're very familiar with?
Yes.
If I would like to ask that you will place your phone on mute so that it will diminish the feedback. Unless you have a question, then you have to unmute yourself so that you can speak. This RFP covers all types of construction trade to include general contracting, roofing, carpentry, painting, plumbing, HVAC, and environmental hazard remediation and abatement. So basically, all of the trades except electrician. And that's because we actually have electricians already under contract. The proposal is actually due on currently on February the 3rd. That may change. Any changes that we make will be in the form of an addendum that we will be sending out. And any questions that you have, please make sure, if I can answer them on this call, we will try to answer them, but we will also make sure we provide answers to all questions in the form of an addendum. And if after we finish this call, if you have some questions that come up, make sure you include them in writing. My email address is included throughout the solicitation, so make sure you include, you send your questions in writing so that I can respond to them, get a response for you, a written response in the form of an addendum. So right now, that is what we are. The 3rd is our due date, which if it does change, we will make sure we send it out as an addendum. And we're also going to send out this recording as part of an addendum. We'll send a link out so that you will have an opportunity to review it after the meeting is over. The first thing I like to point out and make sure you all are aware of, we have this RFP information sheet that's in the solicitation package. And you need to make sure you complete this and send this back as part of your proposal. This provides us information on your organization all in one spot in case we have to contact you. We have one place to go throughout your proposal to find out all the information we need to know. It also provides you with some general information on the solicitation. I do want to say that all proposals must be submitted through EVA. EVA is the state's e-procurement system, and you submit your proposal through EVA. If you're not familiar with EVA, I recommend you contact EVA. You can call them or you can contact them, and their customer care department is very helpful, because I don't want anyone to risk submitting your proposal on the due date because you're not familiar with EVA or you're not registered through EVA. So please make sure, if this is new to you, that you contact EVA to get your questions answered. The next thing I like to point out is our schedule of submittal. This will actually give you an idea of how we want to have your proposal organized. I get many proposals all the time that is not organized like this, and it makes it very difficult for the evaluation committee to review your proposal because they're not finding things where they should be. So as you can see here, we expect your proposal to have tabs because you're submitting electronically. What I've seen people do is they just put a sheet in between each session that may say tab 1, tab 2, and so forth, so that they can indicate which section is which is that so we can, when the evaluation committee is going through your proposal, they'll be able to find what they're looking for. Because you have to realize if they have to search for something, they may not find it and they may mark you down in points for your evaluation because it may appear to them that something is missing. So if you organize it as we ask you to organize it, then it helps you to make sure you can maximize your points, and it also helps our committee to ensure they're able to find what they need. And we ask that you initial, to ensure that you're familiar with this, we ask that you initial beside each tab so that we know that this is something you've seen, you've read, and you're familiar with. Are there any questions before I go on? Okay. And although the solicitation may look a bit intimidating, what you will find is a lot of the information that is included in there is just that information. And I want to stress, we do not need you to resubmit back to us our RFP. We just need you to submit the information that we have here on the schedule of submittals. Oftentimes we have organizations that will send us back our whole RFP as well as other documents. We do not need that. We just need you to submit what is requested. And the solicitation itself is, as I mentioned earlier, we are looking for firms that can provide construction freight services. We will accept a general contractor or specialty contractors, such as a roofing firm or a HVAC, a plumbing firm, or someone that does specialize in environmental hazard remediation and abatement. So you don't have to be a general to apply, but generals are able to apply. Our basic requirements is you have at least 5 years experience working with public housing authority, public bodies, other types of housing communities. We prefer that, and that you have your licenses. And we, as far as state license is concerned, we are accepting proposals from Class A, B, or C contractors. So you don't have to be a C contractor to apply. And we will award to more than one contractor because we're trying to establish a pool of contractors to serve the housing authority on all our properties and projects when we have work to be done. So this will be, the contract is initially for a year, but we have the option to renew for 4 additional years. So in total, the contract could last up to 5 years. The renewal is at TRHA sole discretion. And we call this an indefinite quantity contract because we're not sure, we cannot guarantee how much work will be done, but we do, it will be basically on call as we need contractors to help us with various jobs. And we will issue a job order to the selected contractors when we're ready to assign a job to you. And with the job order, before we issue the job order, you're going to actually have to provide us with a detailed proposal, because if you review the solicitation, you will notice we only requested information on your pricing. We asked for most of the trades, we've asked for, let me pull up that attachment. For most of the trades, we asked basically for labor hours based on the your trade, but we do want price proposal. Okay. Can you all see the price proposal? Yes, no, maybe?
Yes, I can see it over here.
Okay. So for most of the trade, we ask for your fees for the different levels of skilled trade. We ask for your fees for both regular hours and then after hours, because some of the jobs you may be called out to do after hours because it is an emergency. So we do allow you to provide us an after hours rate as opposed to a regular rate. When we say your fees, I want to stress this, they have to be all inclusive of all your costs. So this includes your not only your employee wages and benefit, but any of your administration and overhead, profit, insurance, any of those types of things. We ask that you include that in your base fee, because because we want to make sure we're what you're charging us for that hourly rate is inclusive of everything. And then the material will be built at the actual cost, and the authority will be asking for invoices to show that what the actual cost of the material is. So I cannot stress enough that we need you to, when you give us your hourly rate for each year, that you're providing that it is inclusive of the wages and benefits for other, and it also includes your profit and overhead. So do I have any questions on that?
Just one question.
Okay.
This is Valerie James, not necessarily on your comment, which you just made, but so we're for general contracting, and so we're only going to submit the general contracting page.
Okay.
Correct. Okay.
Well, now, if you do have your subs, if you're familiar with your subs, if you know who you're going to use for subs for things that you're not can do, you can also submit that. Because if you notice, the only thing we did for the general contracting page is the pretty much administration and oversight.
Right. Okay.
I think that's our last one. Yeah. It's just this provision. But if you have some skilled subs, you know who your subs are going to be. If you know what their rates are what it's going to cost you, and you can include that.
Okay.
Because
thank you.
Yeah. Okay. And I will. And let me make sure we write that down so that I can, because I'm sure we're going to have that question from other of our GCs.
Ms. Adams, I have a question for you. This is Trent Walker, Pyramid Enterprise.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I guess when it comes to the subs and we know their rates, do we need to also add them as part of our experience and our, I guess, our staff members? Or
you can. Yes.
All right.
That it would be beneficial to you to add, if you know, particularly if your subs are very experienced in a particular, it will be beneficial to you to show that your subs are experienced.
Gotcha.
Because we want to know who the subs are if you're a GC.
Gotcha. And their insurance information, would that be required, or is that
require their insurance information for the solicitation? But if you're selected, we do need to require insurance. We want insurance information on subs.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Ma'am, this is Ray with WillPro. How are job orders received? Is it via email?
Yes.
Email.
Yes. Okay. You probably may get an email from our modernization department. Ms. Blow handles a lot of that administrative task for our modernization department. And you may be asked, we have a job at, she'll give you an address and they ask you to go out there and take a look and provide a proposal.
And one more question, ma'am. With regard to what we do here at WillPro, we do more than just paint. We do painting and other disciplines as well, drywall, texture. How would that be separate quotes for each, say the order had painting and drywall repair? How would you do that?
Well, if you're talking painting and drywall, and you'd say, are your painters doing the drywall?
Correct.
Yeah, because usually that's what happens. They make the repairs to the wall, they do the painting. When you do your paint, we ask you for your hours. So is it a master? Is it a journeyman? Is it an apprentice? Who's doing the work? So you need to include that in your hourly rate on what you're paying these people. Okay?
That's fine.
Because we know painting includes more than just painting. It includes prep and all that other stuff to your wall. Any other questions? These are great questions. And we will provide these answers in the form of the addendum. And if you want to make sure your question is provided in the addendum, you're always welcome to email me and make sure we get it right. Okay? So, but I just want to stress that when you're doing your pricing, just don't include the wages and benefits, because that will, what you're doing is you're saying this is what we're going to charge, and it includes my profit and my overhead and my admin. All right. And like I said, we are looking to up to 5 years for the contract. So we're asking you for prices for the base year, which is the initial year of the contract, and the 4 option years. So just make sure you complete that. And one thing I want to stress, and it says it in the instructions, but I want to stress it now. If let's say you're giving us the price for a master painter, but you don't give us anything else, that is not allowed. If you're going to fill out a category, you need to complete the entire category, because we know that everyone on your job is not going to be the master painter. You're going to have some laborers. You're going to have some other individuals on that job. So once you fill out this category, you need to complete the entire category. Okay? And we do have, if you looked at the solicitation, there are some general definitions of what a master, supervisor, journeyman, the laborer, all of those different positions are, because we are talking in trades. The one area that we do have more than just labor is on the environmental hazard abatement and remediation, because that category also includes when you have a flooded unit, and that we do know that there's going to be some certain equipment that's used for those services. So there is actually cost for equipment here. I think that was, and I think there's plumbing. I think plumbing had, yeah, plumbing. We know there are certain tasks that we're going to ask a plumber to do. So we also have pricing on if there's additional charges for this type of these services. So, but for the most part of the other trades, it is just the labor cost. Okay. And what I want to, we also have, let's go look at the scope of services, part 2. Okay. I always tell people the meat and potatoes of the solicitation is in part 2, which is our scope of services. And because this is construction trade services. It includes some of everything. And if you look at starting in section 2, you'll see some real general examples of some of the things that may be included. This list is definitely not a total list of all the types of jobs that you will be asked to do, because stuff comes up all the time. But this is to give you an idea of some of the areas. The one thing I do want to let you know is that these are anything that's construction related that falls over $2,000, which are probably most of the jobs, are Davis-Bacon jobs, and you do have to do certified payrolls, and we will be conducting interviews up on our job sites for these jobs. So please, if you're not familiar with Davis-Bacon, let us. I did include the Davis-Bacon wage rates in the solicitation. I did find out the day after I submitted the solicitation on EVA that new rates came out. So that will be part of our addendum. We're going to update the Davis-Bacon wage rate for 2022. So that'll be part of addendum number 1. But so when we do have certified payrolls, we always request that you have to have an actual original signature on them, even if you use your own program, because that is a DOL requirement. And when we're talking about apprentices, for an apprenticeship to truly count as an apprentice, it has to be a DOL, which is Department of Labor approved apprenticeship program. So you can't call someone an apprentice and it's just so that you can pay them a certain rate. It has to be actually it has to be part of an approved apprenticeship program. That is another fairly recent requirement from DOL. Certain things I want to make sure we stress. When we say that you receive a job, we generally ask you to provide labor material. You have to meet all the state, local, federal code. And I ask everyone to pay special attention to HUD 5370, which is the general conditions for our construction contract, because that is that covers a lot of the areas of questions and things you may have. And if you are using subs, because I know a lot of you may be using subs, it is your responsibility to make sure your subs are familiar with the requirements of the job, because the subs are held to the same standards as you are. So just make sure you make your subs aware of what the requirements are on each job. And we do, if a job is going to last more than 30 days, some of these may be a little longer than others, then you can request a progress payment every 30 days. You will have to have someone on site at all times. We require that. That's on any job that we give you, someone that's responsible. We do have, you look at section 2.2, I'm not going to go through all of these but it does give you some more specific requirements from each of the different trades. So these are general, these are not all the things that's required, but these are some basic requirements for each of the construction trades. And we provide you with some of the things that we may ask, and then some basic standards. So if you're going to do, if you say that you are a roofing contractor or a plumber contractor, there we do expect to see some type of licensing or certifications for that. And we do ask you to submit that in with your proposal package. So are there any questions before I go on? So we have our, I'm going to ask Modernization Department, Development Modernization Department, if you have something that you want to add about the specifics of this contract, particularly since you're the one that administers some of the challenges that you've seen and some things you want to make sure the contractors are aware of.
Dolores, this is Philip, or everyone, this is Philip Page with PRHA, Director of Development. And I think during introductions, you knew that other two members of my organization are there. Just a couple of comments. Obviously, everything that, you know, Dolores went through was accurate. We just wanted to be clear. There was a question about communication, and of course, communication is key. Email communication is what we're going to do the most of. And, you know, we just need as quick response, and we just use that to document timing and, you know, when requests were made and when responses were made. And so, you know, we look forward to just making sure that that happens. I think the other thing that I'll bring up, and Dolores, stop me if this is, you know, premature, is just being able to get responses back from you all, or whoever the selected contractors are, you know, so that we can respond as soon as possible. I already said communication is key, but the folks in the room with me who are in modernization will be, you know, communicating as far as sending orders, but then there'll be a good deal of direct response and interaction with our site staff, which are the property managers and the property manager, excuse me, and the maintenance staff. And so, you know, the modernization department, just us here, is probably going to be more the main point of contact, but you'll finish out, you know, the job and interact a little bit with the property managers and the on-site maintenance. And so we're going to do the best we can to just make sure that we all stay connected. If there are any questions, of course, going through, then you know, your initial point of contact through modernization will remain. But I just wanted you to know that there are others that you'll be interacting with and working with as best as possible. I think that's it, Dolores, for right now, unless there are any questions that we can answer later.
I see we have a hand up.
I would like to add something too when you finish.
Okay, yeah. Pyramid, you have your hand up? Okay. Mr. Raymond?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I have 3 questions. Is there a quality program or an inspection criteria that happens after the job is completed prior to submitting invoice for payment on that net 30 schedule? That's the first question.
Yes, we actually have our staff that will do a walkthrough before, and they will have to approve the job before it is signed. You can submit, but we won't pay until we get approval to pay.
Okay. Is there a schedule for that inspection? Is it typically immediately or within 5 days?
We try to do it immediately.
Okay. My other question was, like we service military housing, and they make us get these badges. Do you guys have badging requirements?
We have the requirement that you have to wear, whoever's on site has to be in uniform or have a hat or have some type of identification that shows your company. We don't have an actual badge that we get issued.
And my last question,
you said 3, that's 4. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's all good. It's all good. The last question is if there's any type of remediation, i.e. lead, asbestos, anything like that, what's the protocol?
And we actually, for painters, we want you to be, is it RFP certified, so that you can do that type of remediation. And we have, and if you find something like that, you're in the middle of a job, you're like, ooh, there's asbestos, there's lead, then you notify the site staff, and then we'll address it. Also, we may know that it's a possibility of something you may see, and you'll be asked to include the remediation as part of the your
Yeah.
proposal that you issue to us.
Yeah, typically it's light mold, but we gotta ask.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So, and now we have our housing management staff, um, Ms. Winston and Ms. Jenkins, that can give you some more information about what exactly they're looking for and and what are some of the things, the issues and concerns that they've had with contractors previously um, that we've had on call.
Did you want
Good
me to start
afternoon.
first, Val, or you?
It doesn't matter.
Okay. So can you all hear me okay?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure that when you submit your proposals that you really have the capacity to do the job. We have over 1,300 units, and some of those units are occupied and some of them will be vacant. And so any unit that's vacant, we're not receiving money on. So time is of importance to us to make sure that we're getting the work done in a timely manner. Also, if you're working in occupied units, in some cases, we have to put the residents up in hotels. And so that's additional cost to us as well, so we need to make sure that you all are responding in a timely manner, that you are responsive to us. We don't have time to wait 5 days to get an estimate back from you all. We need estimates back within a timely manner. Again, we are often disrupting our residents' lives and they don't like it. And I don't blame them, but sometimes, it takes a little longer than anticipated. But so we just want to make sure that we are moving swiftly, that we're getting the job done, that you don't have to come back continuously, for the same issue. If my resident has reported a plumbing issue and then, the same issue is creeping up, week after week after week because it wasn't addressed the first time. So I just want to make sure that you are addressing issues, that you are completing the job in its entirety as well. Also, one of the issues that I saw, and I'm just going to just use this as an example, just for mold or hazard, oftentimes you may have some mold remediation that you have to do, and it's going to require some putback. Well, you go in and do the remediation, then I have to wait another 2-3 weeks for you to do the putback. I don't have that type of time. So I need for you all to make sure that you're coordinating with your subs and that you are coming with realistic timeframes for us so that we can get these units back in line or we can get our residents back into these units as well. So I just want to make sure, I want to emphasize the capacity, make sure that you have the capacity and that you're able to respond to us in a timely manner, especially, emergencies as well. So those are some of just the main things that I've noticed that we've had some issues with in the past. Ms. Jenkins, did you have anything that you wanted to add?
Yeah, just a few things. And also when contractors come on site, please make sure that they're going to the rental office. I know sometimes they get, go to the maintenance supervisor or the maintenance department, but they need to be checking in at the rental office before the work starts and afterwards. Because often, sometimes we don't even know the contractor's on site, and that's not good. The other thing, I don't know, Ms. Adams, I don't think you touched on the turnaround time from when we put the request in to how soon they have to respond. And then at that point, the turnaround time or how the amount is going to be completed. Because sometimes, we've dealt with contractors, okay, I'm going to be finished on Tuesday, and here we are Friday, and the work is still not completed. So the turnaround time is really, really important.
Realistic time frames and estimates of work.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, because oftentimes, we have things coordinated where you all you come in and do the work and then Norfolk may be inspecting our property. So we've kind of coordinated when Norfolk can come out and inspect the work but you all haven't finished. So it kind of shifts everything around as far as the timing. Or we promise a resident that they could be back in their units at a certain time. Or we promise this unit to a resident, you can move in on the 1st. And so we just, so I think as Ms. Adams said, just make sure that, you are giving us realistic timeframes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So are there any other questions about the solicitation and the requirements? Well, as I've seen happen many times, once we finish this pre-proposal meeting, there's going to be all kinds of questions that's going to pop up, and you get a chance to look more in depth, or you go back and review the scope of work. You're going to have some additional questions. So please make sure you submit all questions to me in writing at my email address that's listed in the solicitation, and we will respond to it through an addendum that we will send out. I just want to stress, I can't stress enough that all proposals are due into EVA. You have to upload it into EVA by 3:00 p.m. on the day that the proposals are due. And if you're not familiar with EVA, or you've had, or you this is something new to you, or you haven't registered and you don't have an account, please make sure you contact them and get yourself registered and ask them any questions as far as this submittal, because you don't want your proposal not to be considered because you didn't submit it on time. Because that has happened in the past, and we're looking forward and hoping and expecting to receive proposals from each of you. And I want to make sure that that won't be a barrier. Any other questions or concerns? Staff, PRHA staff, do you have anything else you'd like to add?
No.
Okay. Well, thank
for
you.
your time.
Yes. We'd like to thank you all for joining us this afternoon. And like I said, feel free to email me if you have you think of something after this meeting is over. Okay? If that's it, y'all have a wonderful evening and enjoy the rest of this beautiful cold day. And
Thank you very much.
more from you.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you.
All right. Goodbye.